I see him, my heart beats a lot. Because why would he want to do that to me? Why would he want to do that to me, knowing how we've always lived and how I've always supported him in all that he does? So when I think of all those things, my heart beats a lot.
I'm afraid to form married 24 hours or ten. Oh no, down just a that Google. Johnson, yeah, in Koye, Emma, Bussy, cry.
To see a midway, make a sack can be correct. Because me bet trouble friend or the wa. Minim said your tea. Na mission your comuna. Na me kuma a bit to a year to a female. And ye easy cry.
When Benita Dankwa got married 5 years ago, her expectations were very high. She had dated Efo Dankwa for 5 years, and like any other young woman, she expected the best in that lifelong union called marriage.
I had dreams of a sweet husband, having me alone as the wife, no other person, having our kids, just jumping around and all that. So that was what I wanted.
Today, however, her world has been turned upside down. The 29-year-old woman is paralyzed from her chest downwards.
Paralysis per se just means that you are unable to move or use the part of the body which is said to be paralyzed, and it is as a result of a nerve injury. And in her case, it is the spinal cord, and the spinal cord is the biggest of all the nerves, and all the nerves take their supply to them from the spinal cord. So if you have major injury to the spinal cord, then all the areas lower to where that injury is becomes paralyzed, and so you can't move the limbs, you cannot feel any sensation there, so touch and everything is gone, so it's dead, but blood flow goes through, so it doesn't get rotten, but the limb is dead. You can't do anything with it, you can't lift it up, you can't even wiggle it, it's just completely gone.
Benita was a supervisor at Askai Airlines and looked forward to a promising career in the aviation industry. The sun on her ambitions, however, set on August 28th last year. Benita went to bed healthy and fit that night, but what was to happen in the ensuing hours would change her life forever.
On Friday after work, I got home. Everything was okay at home. I was watching TV and my husband came in. When he came in, he also took his bath and went to bed. But because I was watching TV, I didn't go with him. So I went later on. I went later on. Then early that morning, I woke up to urinate. After that, he also did the same thing. But he took a very long time in coming. I wanted to go and see what he was really doing, but I was feeling too sleepy, so I slept off. I woke up only to realize that I had been shot.
And was your dress soaked with blood or something?
I wasn't putting on anything, so there was no blood on me too. There was no much blood on me. So I asked him. I was conscious by then. I tapped him, he woke up, and I told him to get something, put on something for me, and also wear something.
What was his demeanor when you
woke him up, how was he feeling?
He was feeling as if he was confused, running around and all that.
Did he call others or you?
He didn't call anybody. He didn't shout. He didn't do anything. So because I was feeling like a balloon, I thought he couldn't carry me. So I asked him to call there were some 2 boys in the compound. So I asked him to call them so that one could go for a taxi and the other go for help him out in carrying me.
I was sleeping around 5 a.m. Then I heard someone call me. So when I woke up, and then it was Effort who called me, and he told me that I should go and bring taxi because he said his wife is not feeling fine. I should go and bring taxi. So I rushed to go and bring the taxi, and he told me to call my friend called Eric to help her. So to help the wife to go to the hospital, including the taxi driver. So when we entered the room, the wife was lying down in the bed crying. Was crying, and we carried her from the bed, and he was wearing something called 19, and like all his body was showing. So I told the husband that I should bring a clothes so that we can cover her. So we bring her to the hall and we cover her with the clothes and we send her to the hospital. Eric didn't go some. I and the husband and the taxi driver who went some. So when we are going, the husband will keep saying that you'll be fine in the car. Then the taxi driver asked me, what's wrong? And I told her that maybe it's first time pregnant, maybe it's finding difficult to, and maybe it's about to deliver baby or something. Then we rushed to the hospital and then we sent her to the labor ward. So when we sent her to the labor ward, the nurse asked us that, what is the problem? Then the husband said it was a gunshot. Then the nurse said, okay, then we can't operate a accident unless you go to the accident ward. Then we went to the accident ward and the doctor said, here too, you cannot just be unless you send her to Kuala Lumpur.
According to John, Effort Dankwa was very casual when he asked him to go for a taxi. He did not mention that his wife had been shot.
When the thing happened, nobody was knowing that it was a gunshot. Because me, if I know there was a gunshot, there's no way I'll enter the room to go and help them. Till we get to the hospital and he said it was a gunshot. And that time the family people too were there. See, I think the family people who went to go and lodge a complaint to the police station.
Do you know why he didn't go?
Okay, that one day I can't tell. I can't tell because maybe you know the reason why he didn't go. The one I can't tell.
But I don't know. But when he called you that we should take my wife to the hospital, did you not ask what's wrong with your wife or something to just know before you went?
Okay, when he called me and I come out from the room, it was coming as if nothing has happened. The husband, it was coming as if nothing has happened. Oh, Child Johnny, wife, you know the full fine, go bring me taxi. It was happening like nothing has happened. And me, I thought that the wife is about to deliver because I knew he's pregnant. And it wasn't like something that actually just something. No, it wasn't like that. It was something that you even know that there's something has happened. Till we get to the hospital and they say it was a gunshot.
John's room is about 5 meters away from that of Benita and her husband, Effort Dankwa. He says at about 3 a.m. that dawn, he heard a gunshot.
When I was sleeping around 3, I heard a gunshot. And it was afar. And I didn't say anything. Then I was there again, I heard another one. That one was too loud. And I was asking myself that I should sleep well because sometimes some people like giving gunshot, and if you didn't take time, as in your room, something it can mess up and come and hit you. So I was just there and I was okay, fine. It didn't take hours, then I had my friend call me to come and help her to take his wife to the hospital.
According to a report by the Tema Community 11 police, their investigations revealed that the victim, Benita Dankwa, was shot from a close range at her chest and the bullet penetrated her body. But no point of penetration or breakage into the couple's room was detected. End of quote.
This is the house where Benita Dankwa was shot on the 29th of August 2015. This is their room, and I'm told these windows lead to the living room. And this particular window and then the one behind here actually lead to the bedroom. According to the police report, there was no any form of break-in, and there is a wire mesh and also a very thick curtain in here. So if somebody even shot through this window, probably the person needed to have cut through this wire mesh, lifted the curtains before finding his or her target. But I'm told no form of renovation was made after that incident, and there is no form of breakage or even cutting through this mesh.
The police report also says, quote, a live ammunition believed to have been shot from a pistol at a close range was also found about 2 inches deep in the mattress on which the couple were lying. Blood stains believed to be human blood was also found on the bed sheet and the mattress of the couple. End of quote. Tema Regional Police Public Relations Officer ASP Julian Opin says their investigations so far point to one direction.
But for now, fingers are pointing to a certain direction, and because we are saying that investigations are ongoing, we cannot confirm. But then questions are coming up, answers are also coming up. The issue then is, so who did it? If you go to, when we visited the crime scene, what we found out, like I said, I cannot mention. But then there were things that we found in the room. Let me give you an example. If I'm with you alone in a house and I wake up to have some injuries on my body and I find certain other things that has to do with some blood stains, and there's no other person in the room, and there's nobody who came to the room, and all of that, I think that your answer or your guess is as good as mine.
On September 15th last year, more than 2 weeks after the shooting, Benita's husband was arrested, cautioned and granted bail. He has denied wrongdoing. A police report available to Joy News indicates a woman called Ernestina Dede Lagbeneku, who was in an amorous relationship with Benita's husband, was also arrested and cautioned.
Unfortunately, she came in and confirmed the fact that yes, she's been in a relationship with the victim's husband for close to about 4 or 5 months. And so when it happened, and per the investigations we had done a bit earlier, it was only prudent that we called Ernestina and then speak to her, and then also extend our arm of investigation to her.
Benita's father, 68-year-old Seth Ohini Yuinchi, says Effort Dankwa refused to report the shooting of his wife to the police.
There can't be a mint yes, papa. You can report to a police station. Also, she asked him, or be a new class of Canada, Mammy and Fanco police cry. It doesn't make you some no harm in Tiasi. Well, or be a nyawa, or be up to weary to you. He not necessarily the police station. Who are we in the crew? When the first person is our police station, one call police station. In the end, your police station, report.
On 6th January this year, when I called Effort Dankwa to inform him that I was investigating the shooting of his wife, he did not want the story told.
So if, for instance, I don't approve it, what will happen?
You don't approve it as in?
I don't, like for instance, I would not like to approve that to go to in the public domain. I mean, what will happen?
Well, it is not it is not in your place to decide what story I should do or not.
Okay, because you are saying that you want to ask me. That is why I'm.
No, I'm saying that your side of the story, because you've been accused.
Yeah.
Yes, so the police refer to you as a suspect.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we cannot only hear the side of the police and perhaps your wife and their family without hearing your side. So it's not like.
Have you called my wife's family?
Yes, I have.
And what are they saying?
Well, for now, they only told me about the incident,
okay,
and that is what has happened. They confirmed that it is true, it happened.
Yeah.
But the police are still on it. So I am speaking to all parties concerned to get a balanced story before I can go ahead and publish.
Okay. Anything, I just want to speak to my lawyer and get back to you. If, for instance, it is feasible, because I'm asked to remain calm, and it happened last year.
Yes, in August.
In August, and things are becoming a little bit cool by God's grace, by God's intervention, and we are trying to look for the culprit, because a lot of things have gone out, and we don't want to escalate it. These are certain things that when you do, you are going to awaken injuries again, because we are now trying to heal even from the congregation level, where I fellowship with the congregation level. We are trying to heal it from there. So we don't want things to escalate more, because whom and people are affected. People's emotional, being affected. So now, because the congregation has taken the matter, and we are trying to, heal wounds now.
Well, this is a criminal case, and I don't think it is in the place of the church to want to solve issues. So if actually there was a shooting and someone has been paralyzed, I think we must all see to it that the culprit is found and punished.
Sure, that's the promotion. But I'm also saying that the police people, I normally go there. Any information that I've had, I've told them. I've been a support to the police, because this is what I know. When this thing happens, you are sleeping with your wife. All of a sudden, boom! I hope you are getting. And this incident has happened. So I'm saying that the police are in the home of affairs when it comes to this issue.
When I met Effort Dankwa in his house later that day, he said his lawyer had asked him not to talk on the matter. Doctors say Benita was already paralyzed by the time she got to the hospital. She was delivered of a baby prematurely through a cesarean section, but her husband refused to accept the child. Benita explains that she once visited a gynecologist who attempted to sleep with her.
Sometimes when you go to hospital, gynaes, they fidget you and all that. So I was just lying down, and he said he was trying to find out what was wrong. But I realized it was going too far. So I asked him if that was what he does to every other lady that comes there. And he said with situations like mine, those that come there, that was what he does to them. But later I realized it was getting too far, because he was bringing out his private parts. So I stopped him, of which he wasn't aggressive. So I was able to stop him, and I left the place. Immediately I got home, that was the first thing I told my husband, that someone tried, like the doctor tried doing this to me.
Benita says her husband did not raise any questions about the pregnancy until she delivered.
He never made mention of anything until when this baby came in. He started saying, I've been visiting hospitals and all that. So how would he believe that the baby is his?
When you got pregnant, did it ever come up?
It never came up. He never made mention of anything like that.
She also says one of the reasons she suspects her husband wanted to kill her and the unborn baby started before their marriage.
When we were courting, he told me he never wanted kids, but I took it for a joke. And so when we got married, I started worrying him with kids. And he started declining. He was declining and all that. But fortunately, or if I should say unfortunately for him, I got pregnant, of which I told him. He never really said anything, but never complained about anything. Sometimes there are times he plays with me sometimes, and he never said anything bad about the pregnancy until now.
Forensic examinations are still underway, but there is no evidence of forcible penetration and entry into the room, no break, evidence of breakage of any entry point, and there's clear evidence of a broken, soured relationship between the couple. the couple are estranged, though living together, and the man is reportedly in an amorous relationship with another woman who, on interrogation by the police, admits being in a relationship with this man. And finally, that the man is discounting or denying parentage or paternity of the child who was saved by the medical personnel, the pregnancy, from that pregnancy. All of that would seem to suggest that this man would have a motive for wanting the woman dead. It would seem to suggest, if these are indeed the facts, that this is a legitimate person for the police to consider as a prime suspect.
Mr. Irenche says in the panic and the desire to save Benita, the family took certain pieces of evidence for granted. It never occurred to them that the one who shot her could be someone in the room.
What the power be a pamoja see na later or the man baba so uncle tonchine. Na breben wa pamoja the disame bana osi we hu brekan wa pamoja.
Benita's cousin, Priscilla Asari, says she had been sent by her mother, Benita's aunt, to fetch a stove at the crime scene, that is Benita and Effort's home, to be taken to the hospital. This was on Wednesday, September 2nd, 2015, 4 days after Benita was shot.
Obefie no beje key. To beje key no. Na mchene se mehu ta obi amoja wo. No so ho mento nchene. Ti atwans na manto anchene na me de to. Ti na me ma me beba me confirmation ti oba no. No bi se me seta wo na edade na me so. Me ko siesie dem mo no. Ta wa me hu na me de kire. Bra effort na o senti mento nchene. Ti at manto anchene atwans na me de na mami sope ti mi si mami no the village.
In this case, I think the police ought to be looking at this man closely. What else is there to look at? Number one, this man, from the report, a neighbor heard a gunshot around 3 a.m. It was not until 5 a.m. that this woman complained of pain and asked her husband for assistance. She possibly was in coma for a while, or she had been chloroformed. There is evidence, from what you tell me, of a towel which was found to contain blood, and that towel ought to be taken to the police for forensic examination.
Benita is worried about what she calls delay on the part of the police.
I realized the case was delaying, so I asked my mom to help me so that we go to the police station to find out what was happening. We met them all right. So I asked them, I learned the case is going to court, so how far with it? But the gentleman told me the case, he's never heard that the case is going to court. So I asked him, when does he think they'll take it to court? And he said he would see his commander. So he went to call him. When he came in, he told me he's preparing the docket.
Benita is now a burden on her parents. Her 54-year-old mother, Agnes Irenche, now has the double responsibility of changing the diapers of her 5-month-old grandson and her 29-year-old daughter.
Yengafa oyaw mu ankasa enye oyaw keke sikasem enuru ankasa ayato ewom yenyamo kakra fine de enso she.
Apart from the paralysis, Benita is also battling with bed sores.
She came with very huge and extensive bed sores with a lot of slough, is what's dead tissue, and the wounds were very bad and offensive, and she needed to have what we call debridement. That's cleaning the wound of all the dead tissue so that you can see fresh bleeding wound, meaning the tissues are healthy. So you take off all the dead tissues and then you leave the health tissue to heal. But then it has to be done in theater. You need blood, but then we had a problem with this blood issue because of their religious background. Jehovah's Witness, they don't take blood. So what we did was to do a minimal debridement of, or because she's paralyzed, so pain wasn't a problem.
She is also anemic, a situation doctors say can cause heart problems. Benita says her husband abandoned her after she left the hospital.
We had some bills to pay, and I called him. The elders of the church told him about it. When they told him about it, I was just doing a follow-up on it. It's either for him to sell the car of which we both bought, and also sell the land that we have. So when I called him, I told him that the money is too much. So if nobody is buying the car, he can give the car to whoever we are owing, so that at least the person will know we are making some effort. But he told me he's using the car for his runs, so he can't do anything like that, and told me that I shouldn't call him again. So I've never called him since then.
Today is Sunday, and Benita is going to her place of worship.
Let her go inside.
Which are names are?
It is associated with Christ's millennial reign. That is his
The Kingdom Hall of the Jehovah's Witnesses at Tema Community 11 is where Benita has been worshipping for the past decade. It was here that Benita met Effort 9 years ago. They dated for 5 years before getting married 4 years ago. Since the incident, Benita has often seen Effort from afar when they go to worship. Today, however, Effort is not in church because the police arrested and detained him 2 days ago.
I won't say I was sad about it. It's something that has to be done.
Benita and her family believe it is the interest of the media in this case that has put the police on their toes. Benita's family is now struggling to meet the financial demands of her upkeep.
It's rehabilitation that she needs to do, so she needs a psychologist, physiotherapist. Her hands are okay, so if they won't heal, I'm sure she'll be able to at least hold her baby, take care of one or two household stuff. But we hope the Lord does something for her.
I miss walking. I miss working. And I miss many things, because now I can't do anything. I'm just sitting here all day. If I want to sleep, I sleep. I can't do anything. If I could walk, I could do everything. So that is what I miss most.
And do you have hopes of ever getting back to your normal self?
I do. I really do. But sometimes I think it will take a long time. But I have hope.